Hello everybody, before this week's episode of the Reckoning of Arkanon begins, we want to give a huge thank you to the amazing people over at Critical Dice for sponsoring this campaign. Along with this partnership with the amazing people over at Critical Dice, we are able to give you 20% off your next order. So if you go to critical.chromaticdice.com, you will be able to get 20% off your order, whether it's dice, whether it's shirts, anything on the website, 20% off. You deserve it. And we ain't done there. Because every Friday, with every new episode of the Reckoning of Arkanon, Critical Dice has allowed us to give away one free set of dice every single week. So be sure to be in the chat. Keep an eye out for the secret code word that will appear on the screen. It's going to be huge. You can't miss it. The second you see that code word, type it into the chat and you will go straight into the running to win a free set of dice. And when you enter yourself into the running to win that free set of dice, be sure to join the Discord so that we can get in contact with you if you are lucky enough to win this week's giveaway. One last thing, I promise, and then I'm done. Since hitting affiliate status on Twitch, you guys have shown us so much love and we cannot thank you enough for it. We just want to remind you that every sub, every bit, every donation, every bit of kindness that you guys are generous enough to give to us is going straight towards charity. Because here at Chromatic Dice, we want to give back to the community. And with your help, we're doing that. But that's enough from me. I've kept you long enough. Enjoy this week's episode of the Reckoning of Arkanon.
Everybody, welcome back to another fantastic episode of The Reckoning of Arkanon. This is episode 9 of our show. So really, we just want to take a second to say thank you, all of you, for watching, for 9 episodes, getting us to this point. We really do love you and appreciate your support. My cast are laughing like buffoons right now, and I don't know why. I think we had another Skittles moment. Recapping what happened last week, because it was a bit of a doozy. A lot of things happened. Firstly, Arson was named Scholar of Atharis by the king for saving his life. Yes. All of the players were made honorable citizens of Atharis, which is really awesome. Congratulations for that. You're now members of another nation you may not have been a part of before. Okay. Dumac told Sylvia.
I did not consent to that.
Well, she did. You did in a way. I mean, you did. You took the knee with everybody.
He said he was thanking us. I did not know what that meant.
You're an honorable.
He was not.
That is not your. Yeah.
He was not
you
clear
didn't
with
read.
his
You didn't read the fine print. That is not the.
There was no fine print.
He whispered.
Mariah P is very upset that Catherine is not giving her attention and is taking it out on the DM right now.
We have our edgelord. It's fine.
Every party needs one. So to continue from there, Dumac told Sylvie that he is leaving and going back to Golkaval to start, preparing the people for war. Agron has gone off to his chambers, and we really just left off with Katerina, Mariah P, and Arson. Teamed up with the prince and Catherine are all upstairs in the library that Catherine has. Pip is trapped behind a bookshelf, and that is where we're picking up. Arson has just finished reading that script in that book, and Arson, you just realized that the pages end. We run out of pages. Eons ago, when the world was still new, a mighty being from another world fell to Arkanon. As it impacted the planet, the earth beneath broke into countless pieces. When the beast finally awoke and regained its strength, it used the elements of this newly found world to create life. Plant life moved and weaved to create Feldandra, the green. The waves of the ocean formed Eldrakas, the blue. Fire and ash created Bostraz and Evestraza, the twins. From the clouds, Eltyria took flight. And in the dark of night, when the moonlight was at its brightest, created Neltharia. These 6 children would be the acolytes of this progenitor god, with one conquest: consume the planet. Shadora, drained of life from creating the Acolytes, retreated to the southeast. There it found the deep forests and beautiful wilds of Algaras. The mighty god burrowed itself deep into the ground and rested. The lands around it began to wither and die. The grasslands rotted and dirt turned to sand. The forest crumbled, and this corruption began to spread. Shadora absorbed the natural life, leaving it a barren desert. Arson has just finished reading this back to you guys. I need to know what all three of you are doing.
Arson will close the book and just look at it a little bit. And just sort of sit there, pondering.
Can I make... I don't know if I need a check to do this. Is it talking about Vulcan?
Give me a history check.
Hi. That's a 6.
You have no memory of hearing any kind of story like this before. Actually, Katarina, also give me a history check.
Cool. Let's go. 14.
With a 14, you also have no memory of ever hearing about this. In fact, you know for a fact you've never heard any story like this before.
Did I ever hear of a story like this?
Give me a history check.
I knew it was gonna do it. Oh, it's the Wandering Isles, isn't it?
22.
With a 22, you know for a fact you've never heard this story before. However, trying to put 2 and 2 together, the only lands that you know of that are fractured and splintered are the Wandering Isles. Specifically Astronar. And so you kind of realize that if this legend or story is relatively true in any way, and you kind of feel that it is, because you definitely saw a creature that could be called a progenitor god in that mountain. That if it had struck down from another place, it would have landed on Astronar and created all of those islands. That's what you realize, Arson.
I'll just relay that out loud.
Catherine, at this point, as you were reading, just like pulls up a chair and sits down, and looks puzzled, looking at all three of you. Looks over at the prince. The prince now is watching you guys as well. And real quick, Lariape, you hear the very tapping coming from behind the shifted bookshelf. Hey, can you open this up?
Can you not just go through the wall?
Can you open it up?
Can you just not go through the wall?
I don't know how to do that.
You're ethereal.
Can you please let me out?
Can I have the book back?
Yes, of course. Sorry, and he'll hand the
Both
I put it back where it
both
was.
of you give me a quick perception check.
That's not good at.
4.
Do math. 15.
15. Yeah, Lariape, as you look over and you see it's a pressure plate. Any book can go there.
Ah, well, I just put the same book back.
You put the same book back? The book that he just read?
I mean, he just handed me. Fine, I'll take a different
No,
book.
no, I'm asking. Is that what you're gonna put the same book back?
Well,
Arson's
If I've
just
seen the-
off in his head, so he's just holding the book. He's thinking.
okay, I ignore Arson, then I just put another book back.
Okay, yeah, you pick up one of the encyclopedias and you put it down there, and it shifts back, and Pip is. I was really scared. Okay. And he goes and gets back into your hand, standing on 2 feet again, and he's like wipes his eyebrows. It was really dark in there.
Okay.
Thanks for taking me out. Okay, I'll be quiet. Okay, be quiet.
Please.
Arson's gonna unclip his book on his hip and place it on the desk and start looking through it. He's just gonna go through all the stories that he learned from his father, and he's learned about the Wandering Isle in the past. And he's just gonna start flicking through, looking for anything that might relate to this, or anything that might trigger the tiniest thing.
So
from him.
as you do that, Catherine finally stands up, and she just looks puzzled. And Liriope, you've never seen her look puzzled before. Anytime you've been with her, you feel like you know exactly what she's thinking, and she is always 2 steps ahead of any equation. And this is the first time you ever see her looking puzzled. And she looks at the 3 of you, and looks at the prince, and she's kind of begins to pace around a little bit. She has something to say, but she's very hesitant to say it. And then she finally turns and looks at you guys and says, "Silence your phones." And then says, she says, "It feels wrong. Something feels wrong. And I noticed it when you said something about a giant claw in the mountain. That makes no sense. What giant claw in the mountain? You have no memory of this story." Looks at Liriope. "Yeah, and you have no memory of this story, right?"
I'm taken aback because this is the first time she addressed me. No.
And you, pointing at Katerina, you've never heard anything like this before in your life, right?
No.
Andorin? Anything at all? And the prince just looks up and says,
No, I've never heard anything like that.
I believe our history is muddled. I believe something is proactively trying to suppress our knowledge. And this is evident. This book right here describes the very same thing you all saw in this mountain, yet we have no stories of these creatures, these acolytes. It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you have a book of it. It must have come from somewhere.
Yes, but I remember the book, but I don't remember the story in the book. Isn't that odd?
Where did you find this book?
It's been here. That book was here when I came here. I read it when I read every book in this room. I couldn't even remember where I put it. I just knew that it existed. This is troubling. The prince stands up and looks at all of you and just says,
Well, whatever it is, we should be preparing to fight it, shouldn't we?
Or maybe preparing to put it back where it came from.
What's Katerina doing right now?
I was going to ask you, what does the cover of this book look like?
A leather-bound, it's a red leather-bound book, totally done by hand. Somebody who's not, a professional with bookbinding.
Cool. Is there any similarity between my book and
Absolutely none. Yours, you could tell,
Okay.
like the black book that you have is meticulously made by an artisan. This book looks like it's more of like a journal. This is somebody's book.
Cool. Is Liriope still holding my book after all this searching?
Oh yeah, she's. As long as she hasn't put it down, yes.
Cool. I am just going to... I'm looking, through the shelves of other books, not really paying attention. But unless addressed to, then I'll, look over and give my opinion. But, specifically looking for certain books.
Okay, so real quick, we are going to cut over to Agron. So, Agron, you are in your quarters right now. You've been resting for a few minutes now. Is there anything that you want to do in particular while you have this time?
Agron's he's gonna make the tea that Sylvia gave him.
Okay.
And he's gonna slowly, kind of painfully, take off the armor. Just the breastplate and stuff, leave his underclothes or whatever, and hang it up. and he's just gonna do that like old man sit, like in a chair, and he's gonna like rub his temples as like while he's waiting for the tea to cool because he's a little pitchy and he doesn't like hot stuff, so he's waiting for it to cool, and he's just like continues to rub his temples, and. Well, I had a question for you. So, like, the king ordered Agron to gather the fjords, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Agron would know this, but Alec doesn't necessarily. Like, can you give me some context? On
Yeah,
it?
so the fjords are typically horse riders, and all of the different families, all of the different lords that have pledged sovereignty and loyalty to the king. It is going to be your job to go and hand deliver the king's letter to them saying that you need to assemble your forces.
Okay.
We're going to war. This is what you pledged to do. Now you have to come to war.
Okay. So I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna rest for a bit, and then once I've finished my cup of tea, I'm gonna place it down, and then some time will have passed, and then I'm gonna begrudgingly put if I'm in my room, do I have my old clothes, my old armor?
So as you're looking around, this room is untouched. Everything is exactly the way you left it. They have not moved your things. In fact, it's kind of covered in dust because it's been such a long time.
He's gonna open up the closet that would house his like armor when he would put it away, and he's gonna kind of like look at his old breastplate and his old gear, and he's gonna put it back on. He's gonna leave kind of the busted up plate that he's been wearing the past couple of years, and he's gonna put on his old uniform, and then he's going to make his way to start rallying the people.
So to describe that a little bit better for you, this is a thick plate armor. It is black. There is a couple of dents that are they're nominal dents. It's not very it's not detrimental to the armor itself, but it's just like war marks of your past, and you recognize each battle as you look up and down at this plate armor. And of course, there is one red sash that comes across your chest from your shoulder to your hip. That's the mark of a general. It's a red sash.
And I'll kind of perk up and be like, my headache's gone, and I will make my way to start doing my duty.
Okay. Cutting to Sylvie. So Sylvie, you were looking for either the training yard or the armor smith. Which one was it?
I'm kind of in that, so I don't know the castle too well, so I'm just kind of looking around for that area, and I can't remember, did Dumock say that he was going to sleep or that he was going to go get ready?
He was going to go get ready.
Okay, so I'll just kind of make a round over that way too, in case I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for, like, someone to talk to about the knives.
Okay, so as you're looking around, there's beautiful windows, and you're looking out one of them, and you see out towards the back of this keep, kind of in the center, there is an entire training field, and you see that there are knights wearing training gear, and they're fighting swords together. And it looks like there's a bunch of them standing there, a bunch of young knights already, all different races, all different heights and sizes, and they are all just like, this is their training moment.
Awesome. I am going right over there.
Okay, so just fast forwarding, assuming that you would have made your way there while all of the other talking was going, you arrive and you step out, and it is a sunny day towards the end of the day, and this group just doesn't really acknowledge you. They just continue fighting, and the other trainees and the other soldiers that are there just are in it, like they are watching, calling to their friends, rooting for each other in the fight.
Great. I'm gonna go over to the group that's rooting, and I'm just gonna kind of stand by them and just be like, who's your guys' top fighter right now?
Oh, that's Tinian. Yes, Tinian is the best of us. He is wonderful. and you see that there is a very skinny but very tall elf man who he's very lean but moves very fast. He is filled with agility as he is cutting down his friend, but in this case foe, and he bests him.
Wow, how long have you guys been training like this?
Oh, we train every day.
Yeah?
Oh.
Can I join?
Are you a knight?
No.
What are you doing here? And on the other side, the other group, they're all like looking over at you, and they're all like, you get the feeling like all eyes are on you.
Okay, I'm just gonna make sure like my feelings are giving a little bit. I'm just gonna be like, no, but I've been training in Gol Kaval with the monks out there.
The other group, the other side, they start laughing.
Excuse me, is it funny?
Gol Kaval.
Yeah, okay. Sylvie just like gets into fight mode a little bit. She walks towards the one that's laughing and she's like, have you ever fought a monk from Gol Kaval?
Excuse me, madam. The person that was addressing you first steps up and says, no, the training yard is for knights only.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go find Agron.
As you turn around and make a couple of steps away, the knight that was fighting in the center there calls out and says, I'll fight her. And then are you turning back around?
Abso-frickin-lutely, She turns back around.
As you turn back around, you see the elf standing there wearing his training gear, and he just picks up, he walks over to a table, picks up a sword and shield, and tosses them on the ground in your direction. And he starts kind of like showing off a little bit, twirling his sword, tapping it on the shield. He says, but I must warn you, I will not go easy.
Wouldn't want you to. I'm gonna prep. I'm gonna kick the shield aside. Shield. I'm gonna pull out my short sword, and I'm just gonna keep one dagger tucked, but I want to make sure the dagger is just occasionally able to be seen with the flowing.
So real quick for reference, they are using wooden swords for training.
I'll pick up the wooden sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Sylvia's like, I play for keeps.
No, wooden sword.
Okay.
The day you
Training
die.
time.
Kick this guy's ass, Sylvie.
So real quick, here's how we're gonna do this. Go ahead and roll initiative.
Heck yeah. 19.
Sylvie goes first with a 19. So, Sylvie, you step up onto the training ground, and you have a full, pretty much 30 feet to move around, okay? The other knights that were all laughing at you, they all scuttle back, and they're all like kind of huddled up, like watching. You hear them snickering under their breath. The team that you had talked to are like fascinated watching. They're just so excited to watch this play out.
I'm gonna start off and just hit for a ridiculous amount of time. So I'm gonna run at and come at him with the wooden sword. That's gonna be a 19 plus 7 to hit.
That's a hit.
Great. That first hit is gonna be 5, 6, 7, 8. It's gonna be 8 damage on that first hit. Okay. I'm gonna swing around, and with my wing, I'm gonna hit him with an unarmed strike.
Okay.
That's a 14 plus 7 to hit.
That's a hit.
Yeah, give me a D4. Boom. Yes, 4. 4 plus 5, so 9 damage with that one.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do my classic move with a backflip and using my key points to jump up and hit him with my 2 talons.
Okay.
So
hit him with the old
first
1-2, baby.
1-2.
Was like a 1-6.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be a 17 plus a 7 to hit.
That is a hit.
Great.
What are you rolling?
And
Like just naturally? Like...
My pink dice. I love my pink dice.
Sylvia's like combat rolls
These
are
two.
insane.
Sylvia's like, not today.
That will be 9 slashing because they're my talent.
Another 9.
And then the final one is gonna be an 18 plus a 7 to hit,
Oh my god.
and that's gonna be
Sylvia.
Dude's gonna get knocked out.
that's gonna be final 7 damage with my talons as I finish the backflip, and then I just land ready.
And folks, this is why monks are broken. So when people say they're broken, they are broken. But he is still standing.
That's fine.
He is still standing. So pretty much you patiently wait and then charge into combat once it begins and lay out this beatdown. And you just kind of like, with each hit, you kind of see like he is really trying to keep up with you. And in a way, he kind of is. But you're still landing these heavy powerhouse blows, kind of stumbling him a little bit. And you just, as you like finish your attack, you just like kind of make eye contact together, and he's like barely winded, like he's trying to hide it. But as you guys make eye contact, he just like kind of gives this smirk, like, okay, all right, as a form of respect. Real quick, we're gonna cut back to up in the spire. So Arson and Loriope and Katarina, you were up in the spire, and Catherine has just finished saying that history is muddled. History is changing for some reason. Either memories are disappearing or we do not know our full history. And you are all standing there. And the prince has just said,
Well, shouldn't we be preparing to fight?
and the floor is yours.
We should consider finding ways to put it back where it came from.
But what if we can't? What if we have to fight it?
And I hope this army you and your father have formed is strong. Because this thing is unlike any story I've ever heard before.
You!
And he looks at Loriope. He says,
You've seen this. You've seen it. All 3 of you have seen it. What did it look like?
Looked like a giant claw. Coming out of the mountain. Chasing us.
Arson's gonna smirk 100%.
Do you think that there's any way we can fight it?
You were just talking about how you wouldn't be able to handle an army from Valia. No, I don't think you'd be able to handle this.
Katarina, the book is still in Loriope's hands, yes? Okay. So what happens is, Katarina, like, in the back of the room, you just see just going to call them the friend. You just see the friend walking through, just flipping through a book. Just like, but what's interesting is, sorry to cut you off. What's interesting is the friend is not walking, so it's not walk. It's literally just moving across the back of the room, reading a book.
I'm gonna follow.
You're gonna go up and follow it?
Like, just, like, behind it, like, casually. Like, still acting like I'm looking at stuff.
Are you trying to
like,
hide? Or are you just, like, walking up
No.
behind it?
Just walking
Okay.
behind it.
Loriope, you watch as Katarina just makes a kind of a beeline up a small flight of stairs to the back of this room. And she's now very clearly watching something and moving in its direction.
Is she still in my... Can I still see
Oh, yeah,
her?
you can still see her. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not worried about that then. It's when I can't see her that I'm like, okay, gotta go.
Catherine looks at those of you that are there, and Loriope, she looks right at you and says, "We will have to mobilize and work together to fight this thing. I don't know if we can defeat it. I don't know if we can. I've never fought anything like this before. In fact, it's going to take us all working together to come up with enough research to find more, perhaps even stories," as she points to Arson, "to discover what this is and how we can stop it."
Do you two know each other, or... I'm sensing a lot of... apologies.
Catherine turns and just stares and waits for Loriope.
Cat?
Yes?
You want to tell him?
Tell them what?
We're fine, Arson.
Understood.
She turns.
We'll just look down onto the books.
She turns back to the prince. It walks over to the prince, and now is standing like kind of in between all three of you, and just says, "No, Arson. As scholar, do you know what that job entails?"
Not a one.
Great. Good on your father for making him the scholar. And then turns and looks at you and says, your job is to take down all of the stories that you come into contact with on behalf of Atharis. You are the great storyteller of Atharis. And she's kind of a little sarcastic in a way about it, just like kind of in a mocking kind of sense. She says, it's going to be your job to do a book similar to the one you're holding. In fact, you might as well just keep that and see if you could find all those missing pages, although I'm sure they are destroyed in time.
Storyteller of Atharis.
Oh, don't get too attached to that. That's not what it is.
Arson.
It's your job to go.
Storyteller
And,
of Atharis.
oh gosh! And she just she turns and actually walks back, and Loriope, you watch as she turns around, walks up the small flight of stairs, and sees Katerina following the friend. Katerina, the friend keeps going, even though it's like you've noticed as it glances back a little bit, very sneakily glances back. It just keeps walking around, and at this point you're walking in a circle. Are you still following it?
If I hear the footsteps coming, I'll stop.
You definitely hear the footsteps coming.
Then I'm gonna stop and act like I'm looking at things on the shelf.
Catherine looks at you and says, "What are you doing?"
Oh, I thought I would just look up here and see if I can maybe find those pages that are missing.
I don't think there's going to be any missing pages up here.
Understood. And she's going to walk past her and go down the stairs.
As you walk away, you hear up from the top, but it just got to the good part.
She's going to glance up at it and just keep walking and glance at Catherine to see if she noticed.
She did not notice.
And then keep going. Cool.
She
And
keeps
then
going.
Meet back down with Loriope.
Yeah, Loriope is still holding the black book. Loriope has not seen anything that you have encountered up there. Cutting back real quick, we were jumping back to Sylvie. So Sylvie, Tinian is going to try and attack you, okay, with that is a 17 to hit. Is that a hit?
Oh, it's right on the money.
Okay, right on the money.
Dang
Come
it.
back when you got some money, buddy.
Is this the first time Sylvie's taken a hit?
No.
So he is going to very quickly, as you finish your final talent strike and you guys make that icon, have that moment, he is then going to kind of hold you back with his shield as he goes for a low swipe and very clearly hits you right in the hip, and it hurts for a 6 damage.
Ew.
Non-lethal damage.
Of course.
Not all that fast, are you?
Or I just want you right next to me.
Try to keep up with this. And he disengages, tumbling back 15 feet. Leaping up in the air. And it is your turn.
Cute. Great. I'm going to showboat, and I'm just gonna cute. I'm gonna run, and I'm just gonna do just as the most acrobatic kind of leap I can do.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and come down up on top of him with the wooden stick, going above this above the shield.
Okay. Do you have an ability that lets you do that, or is that an acrobatics check?
That's just an acrobatics.
Okay, did you roll for it? Acrobatics check?
I just rolled 3 plus 7 would be 10.
Okay. 10. So as you jump roll to attack, he has very much
My Evie dice.
caught you. As you do the acrobatics, he catches you on his shield, and now you're being held up in the air, midair, on his shield.
Okay, well, it's So 17.
17 misses.
Nah.
17 misses.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'll use my bonus action to try and hit it while I'm right there.
okay.
Just like use that as leverage to bring my leg around into the side of his
Cool.
head. That's gonna be way better. That's a 15 plus 7 to
15
hit.
plus 7, that hits. Agron on
Great.
deck, by the way.
And that's gonna be 6 damage to his face.
6 damage to his face. Okay. Very clearly,
Uh.
as like you come back from that hit, it's very clear he is bruised on his face, right on his cheek. It is beet red.
Great. I'm gonna use hopefully the momentum of hitting him back to bring just my elbow, still holding on to the sword that he has in his shield. I'm gonna bring my elbow around and I'm gonna do flurry of blows.
Okay.
That's gonna be an 11 plus 7, so 18 to hit.
18 misses.
No!
You literally just miss with that.
It's okay. I have one more.
So I'm gonna say, as you bring the elbow around, it's like it's not enough to break through. So you're making contact with his face, but it is not enough to do any damage.
Okay, so for the final flurry of blows, I'm gonna kick off of his shield and I'm just gonna try and flip around to be behind him.
Okay.
And kick him with the back of my talon as I'm going over, and it's gonna be a 14 plus 7 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Yes. And freaking 1 damage. It's gonna be 6 damage as I'm flipping behind him.
And where are you hitting him exactly?
So I'm kicking back over off of the shield and just trying to re-hit on that bruise as I'm flipping over his face.
Okay.
To then be
Yeah,
right
you
behind.
definitely hit him in the face again, right on the same wound.
Yes.
As you land on the other side and turn around to face him, you could see he is stumbling forward, holding his face. Very much like kind of leaning over, catching his balance. And we're cutting back to Agron right now. So Agron, you have now stepped out and you're walking the fields. I'm sorry, you're walking through. You've just walked past your chambers. And you look out a window and you see the training fields, and you just watched Sylvie pummel this knight.
He sits there, he watches the whole fight. He watches the whole fight, and he's like, "Atta girl, fuck it, no, left, use the left. And he's like, and,
He's a dad watching a soccer match.
Come on, ref. Is the window open?
It can be. You can open it.
I'm gonna pick open the window, and I'm gonna lean out and be like, "Show him who's boss, Sylvie. Get him." Yep.
Yeah, Sylvie, you as you finish your motion, you look up. You've seen the guy, he's stumbling. You look up and you see in a window, Agron is like peeking his head out through the window. You're like, "You got him, Sylvie." Yes. It doesn't go high
cat,
enough
please.
for him to get his whole head out of.
My whole giant fucking head.
You're gonna distract her.
So, cutting back to you've just now, Agron, you cheat her on. Is there anything else you want to do?
Agron's gonna he's gonna see that the guy looks pretty beaten, right?
Yes. Oh, he visibly you could tell he's staggered.
He's just gonna be like, nice, and then he's gonna make his way to start his job.
Okay, so you're going back to the War Council room.
Well, I have to meet with the king first before I.
That's right.
Go
That's
to
where
rally the fjords, right?
That's where you would meet him.
Yeah, I'll go to
so
the war room.
As you go back there, you could see that there are servants that are cleaning up all of the guts and blood that have been spilt in the room. The king is not back yet.
Okay.
You do know he was going to meet with the advisors.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I would know I wouldn't be included on that, right?
Well, so then you know for a fact that, because I believe Arson did tell you that he was going up to the study. So you know that at least Arson is in the study, and you know that Sylvia is outside.
He's like, well, I'll go check on the library, and I'll head up to the study.
Okay. So then cutting back to the study. So you guys are all upstairs, and Katarina, you come back downstairs, and the creature had just finished saying, "We just got to the good part." And you guys come down, and the room is now filled. You hear the footsteps of Agron coming up the stairs, loud footsteps. I mean, he's just a big guy, so he's making a little bit of noise. Liriope, Pip on top of your hat starts kind of fluffing it about. Says, "Hey, I know you told me to be quiet, but I think the cat is coming up the stairs."
You know the cat is fine.
He's a cat, and I am a rat.
He's not gonna, well, I want to say he's not gonna eat you, but I don't know him that well.
Look, I am a rat, and I'm scared of the dark, and I'm scared of cats, and I'm scared of birds, and I'm scared of snakes.
No, come into my hands.
Yes. Okay, he climbs right into your hand.
Okay, come here. I'm just holding him.
Okay, and he just sits down on his, like, hind and, like, has his, yeah, he just has his paws up, and he just, like, he just sits down animatedly.
Okay. Do you feel safe?
I feel much better, yeah.
Okay.
I feel better here.
I'm great.
Okay.
Hey.
Pip is good.
Hey, wait. Whisper. Do you know that lady?
Do you not know that lady?
No.
Okay.
I don't know that. I don't know. I've never seen her before.
Okay. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. We talk later. Okay. I got you.
Not right now.
I got you.
Interesting.
Agron, you enter into the room and you see the whole party is there. The prince is sitting at the desk. Catherine is upstairs now, just like kind of looking around. And the party is split up around the room. Arson is flipping through his book. And this is what you see. What would you like to do?
Well, hello everyone. How goes the studying?
Agron?
Arson?
Arson just goes back to his book and keeps flicking through. I know I'm a nerd, Gina. Shut up.
Nerd.
Catherine turns around briskly and looks right at Agron and says, "Oh, yes, General. The exact person we needed to talk to. Yes." And she like very quickly runs down the stairs and then goes over and starts pulling through books again on a desk and pulls out a map and brings the map and puts it on the table. Okay. Before you talk with the king, and as you will talk with the king, you are being sent to rally the fjord. There's something you must do with this scholar here, the Arson.
Storyteller.
Right?
Greatest story.
No, you're the scholar of Atharis.
The storyteller. You said it yourself.
Storyteller sounds really nice.
I believe
I want Arson to know that I did smile at that.
The prince just kind of like... as she pulls out this big map, she goes and starts pointing to it and kind of gestures for you to approach, intending for you to approach.
Yeah, I'll approach.
Okay. She says, "Listen, the first place that the king is going to try to send you to is Lysted. And I will talk with the king, but I don't believe you should go to Lysted.
Why is that?
I think you should start with this plow. You will eventually go to Lysted. Yes, we need their men, we need their troops, but Displow is where we believe to have lost the city to the Valiants. And if there's any chance of us recovering it, it may be with you and your looks around the room, your crew.
You want us to retake the city?
No, I want you to find out what's going on in the city and why it was so easy to take.
Is Arson looking at the map as well?
Absolutely. If you want to, that goes for the other two of you too, Liriope and Katarina. If you want to look at this map, totally you can. This is all of the major territories broken up of Atharis. So you're seeing all of the major lords and pretty much the main towns.
Do you have reason to believe that they had help?
You know as well as I, the Valiants were never coordinated. They were barbaric, they were brutal, rage-filled, and these are calculated assaults. As we could say, assassins? Agron, when have we known assassins to be of valiant nature?
Never. They find it dishonorable.
Exactly, it makes no sense. There's something else going on here. We need to know if we can... Perhaps the city is redeemable, in a way.
And if it's not,
Then rally to Lysted. And continue. Arson, you have your task. You are to do research and see what you can discover about our new threat that is waiting in the wings.
if I'm going to take my friends into a active war zone, I do believe they all must be outfitted with better gear. No offense. As I kind of gesture to what you guys are wearing.
Covered in blood.
Also,
Yeah.
yes, to be fair, you guys all did see as Agron walks in, he is wearing his new armor to you.
They must be outfitted.
Oh, and they will be. We will make sure everybody is outfitted properly.
Good. Catherine, have you heard any reports of the things we saw in the throne room? You left the throne room, didn't you, when the assassins attacked?
I did, but I blasted one aside.
All right. But have you not seen such things in your homeland?
Assassins? Like this?
Things like this, with the red mist escaping and that type of thing. This type of mind control.
I've never seen this type of corruption before. It is new to me.
What about this? And Arson will flick to the page in his book that's got the dragon wings.
That is new to me.
Have you seen this?
It's very new to me as well. Is that... Where did you find that?
This was on the back of the neck of one of the assassins. The one that I tied up and had held to the ground.
So they're marked.
Apparently.
Is that right? They are marked in a way.
This did resonate with the large orc.
Dumark.
He seemed to have some idea of it. Dumark, my apologies.
Dumark knows about the mark?
He seemed to have some recognition with it. I don't know who else would know such things.
Interesting. We must find out more. And she, like, briskly walks over to Liriope. Now, Liriope, you're still holding the book in one hand, aren't you? So you have the book in one hand. How are you holding it?
I think I got it under my arm. I'm holding it under my arm, and I got Pip in the other hand.
Okay. As she walks over, she just very briskly looks over and sees Pip, and just begins to almost like, because she's still in conversation with the others, but she's walking over to try and just talking with her hands, and as she goes, she just kind of waves a hand over the book, and then you, of course, oh my. That is interesting. And then turns back around looking at Katerina and then looks back at Liriope and just there's a very odd but very, very quick connection. And then she walks back to where she was standing a second ago, continuing, and this is all still within the rhythm of conversation, trying not to give it away. If you guys want to roll an insight check on that, you absolutely can. So everybody that saw that, go ahead.
Yeah, insight.
However,
baby.
She continues by saying, and the two of you,
15.
being the magic users of your group, it would be very easy for you to continue to discern what is corrupt and what is not, and be able to tell the scholar here, and he'll be able to note all of your findings. What did you guys roll?
15.
15? 13? 6? Okay, Arson?
Do I get advantage?
I wouldn't have been paying attention, if I'm honest.
Copy that.
So.
So
bad.
Agron and Liriope, you guys definitely noticed that she made some kind of she noticed something on this book. 1000%.
From my history with her, would I know her as kind of like aloof is the wrong word, but kind of like
Cunning.
crafty? Cunning.
Yeah, you
crafty?
would know her as like, she only speaks when she wants to speak. She only speaks up when she's going to say something important. And this is really one of the first times you've ever seen her like talking a lot, a little frantic almost. Very almost excited in a way, but puzzled. As I said to Laripe before. Laripe, you notice she definitely made some kind of contact on that book. And by contact, I mean she noticed something. What it was, you don't know.
Got it.
What do you know about what happened to this town you want us to go to first?
What we know is that the Valians attacked in the night, coordinated. They dragged out the leadership of the town and publicly beheaded them. The town awoke to find all of their leaders with heads on their pikes.
Yeah.
The Valiant said that they controlled the city now, and that is the last we learned of it.
Do you know who led the? Do you know which Valiant general led the operation?
We believe it is a warrior by the name of Felestus. You go ahead and give me a history check.
Yeah. What I
to see if you recognize that voice.
Yeah, if I would know that
Or
name.
you recognize that name, yeah.
That's a 21. 18
You
plus
recognize
3.
that name 100%.
Okay.
This is one of Vortharil's goons. Absolutely one of the
Felestus?
Felestus, yeah. Real quick, we're gonna cut back to Sylvie. Yes, he's going to turn around, and as he turns around, like you could see, like he's a little
My back is
unnerved.
to him.
So are you looking over your shoulder at him at all?
Yeah, so like, cause my back was to his back at the end. I looked up at Agron, so my back is to him as I'm looking back.
He looks at you, and you could see he is unnerved. And whereas before he was like very confident, now he's noticing that all of his friends are worried for him, that he's kind of being made a fool, and he runs in to attack you.
I'm right behind him. You don't gotta run far. Just don't nat 20
You rolled
me,
a 15.
please. Miss.
He misses.
Whoa.
He swipes down, and you're able to move out of just move away enough to not take the hit. That's his turn. He has no
Great.
other actions.
I'm gonna use that momentum from the dodge of his attack, and I'm gonna see if I can stand up like right in between him and his shield. And as Sylvia is coming up with like what she believes to just be like her key power, with her new key point, something different happens. And as her wing comes up, this astral shield starts to come over in the form of feathers that cover both of her entire wings and make them bigger, and the black robe that she was wearing flows back to reveal larger than normal wings. As one, first he needs to make a dexterity save.
Oh, he failed that.
Wonderful.
Oh, he failed that.
He is
Astral monk.
great. So he is gonna take, just from that, 5 force damage.
Okay. So as you hit him, he gets knocked back and falls prone just from that hit. As he hits the ground, you hold for just a split second as he looks up at you and is in awe of what he is seeing.
Cool. She uses her final move. She's stunned by her wings. She just does one big downward flap of her wings to flip high in the air and come down, and she's not even gonna hit him. She's just gonna put her wing right to his face where she's already hit him twice and hold.
Sylvia has defeated Tinian, holding a wing to his face.
Queen.
The group that was scoffing at you are all in the corner. She can't do that. She can't do that. No. And the other group, the one that you had spoken to, is all, wow, oh my gosh, you beat Tinny. What? How did she do that?
I'm gonna back off of Tinny, and I'm gonna keep my wing offered. And I go, that was great.
He drops his sword and takes your hand.
I'll pull him up. I'll give him just a nice like bat on the shoulder. Still giant wings. And I'm just gonna be like, anytime any of you want to come train at Gol Kaval, we don't discriminate. And I'm just gonna walk away.
As you
Queen.
walk away, you hear the scuttling and scoffling of that one group. They're like, "Oh God, we have." They're just pissed off, and the other group just like, and they all like go into applause.
Sylvia's gonna just all confidence, and then as soon as she's out of sight, and she's just looking at her wings, and she's just examining them in privacy, and like they're just shaking.
We're gonna snap back to up in the mage study there. Okay, Laripa, you just noticed that Catherine had that moment with the book. Agron, you also noticed she knows something about that book or had some kind of connection with that book. And she's going to finish speaking and explaining how, Agron, you will need to go to Displow first. Arson, it is your job to acquire the knowledge, see if we could find anything else new about this progenitor god. And then the two of you are the two magic users of this group, are you not? Gesturing to Katarina and Laripe.
Can I make a check? She's calling us magic users. Does she think that I'm a wizard?
You can go ahead and insight that or arcana that.
Definitely insight.
She wise.
Damn it!
She not
that
wise.
is 11.
With an 11, you can't really discern what she's addressing specifically about your magical capabilities.
Okay.
Katarina absolutely is a magic user, which is clear. Katarina, what are you doing right now?
I am looking from Laripe to the book to Laripe back to everyone else.
Okay.
So just
Laripe,
chilling.
you notice this as you and Katarina make eye contact.
Yeah, we do magic.
Yes, and would you be able to travel with this group and protect them, guide them, help them understand magic? Agron, you don't have a lot of run-ins with magic, do you?
Well, lately I've had my fair share, but not really.
You will need someone with you to help you discern what is magical and what is illusion, what is corruption. It's something the two of you I don't think can do alone.
Correct. And I would hope that Sylvie would follow us as well.
Yes, Sylvie, yes, she is a very good warrior, is she not?
She is. A prodigy in her own right.
Yes. Well, then the five of you will be enough to go and do this recon mission. And as I said, I will speak with the king. What say you?
As long as the king deems it, then it will be done.
The prince stands up and says,
Wait just a second. If they are going on this mission, I want to go with them.
Why is that?
We have countless messengers who could send for the fjord. There are countless messengers here who can do that. We have priests here that can take messages. There's no need for you to be doing that, and there's no reason for I to be doing that when there is... we have an opportunity to go rescue our city.
Have you ever faced a valiant boy?
We just did today.
No, not a mind-controlled puppet. A true valiant.
Well, if I am to be king, then I have to face them now.
When we are together, we will discuss this.
You will take me with you.
If your father gives permission, then we will.
I'll make sure he gives permission.
Understood.
Arson?
Yes, hi. Lady Catherine, you said it was fine for me to take this book, right?
Yes, there are pages missing. I expect you to rebind it, to add pages. It is your book now. You are the scholar of Atharis. That was the former scholar of Atharis. That was their book.
Okay. Two more questions. Is it fine if I take a few books from the desk to read up on Atharis? I've not been here before, and I need to learn.
I believe you're gonna need a deception check on that one in a way. If you're looking,
genuinely, I want like a couple books on Atharis.
Is the Wayseeker one of the books you're picking up?
I was gonna as I'm picking stuff up, I was gonna try and sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Okay, yeah. So she's going to like look at you and just like look around a little bit and be like, okay, fine, like because she doesn't entirely take you super seriously, and you get that vibe.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'll pick up the book and I'll start scooping like papers and a few books into my bag, and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and swipe the Wayfinder.
Okay, go ahead. Slide a hand check.
Wayseeker. Sorry, my apologies. If you ever work, now is the time. Sleight of hand.
Is Agron watching Arson pick up the books? Then go ahead and give me a perception check. And what was that roll, Arson?
25 total.
Yeah, you got it.
I only rolled a total of a 19.
So, Agron, you watch as he picks up a bunch of books, and you see that he picks up very, very calmly, very nonchalant, picks up all these books, and he picks up one very small one and puts it on top and carries all of those to a side.
Yeah. And I'll place my hand on top of the pile to cover.
Yup.
And one last thing, Lady Catherine, you seem very well versed in magic. Seeing you fly was interesting.
Yes.
I have an old friend. She was an amazing fighter. She was incredible, actually. She taught me majority of the things I know. But she seemed to have some kind of influence, and I'm not sure if it was arcane or something else, but she drew her swords, and there was almost like a high-pitched chime that imbued her with something. And she always bested me, no matter how hard I tried. And I'm curious if you have ever heard anything like that. She became quicker. She was harder to hit.
You give me a quick insight, real quick. Insight check.
-2. Natural 20.
Oh, yeah.
Down to 18.
Yeah, so you realize immediately, as you're telling the story, she is not taking you seriously at all. She is not taking this seriously at all. And she's just like, well, I'm sure what you're describing must have been some charm or a spell or something. You will need to pay attention for something like that in the future.
You should answer the boy's question.
That is my answer. It's probably a charm or a spell or something of the sort.
Catherine, I have known you for many years. You have quite an extensive knowledge of spellcasting, so I'm sure you can recognize what it is.
Fine. So, what specifically with your story? You were describing something along the lines of. I mean, did she pick something up? Was she holding something?
Her weapons. She would draw them, and then there was a high chime of some kind, and it imbued her with magic or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't know exactly, Lord Agron. In fact, I'm going to let me do some research here for you. See if I could find anything. Okay.
It would be greatly appreciated, honestly.
Before you leave, I will have something for you.
I'll just give a slight look and nod to Arson. Like, got you.
Give a nod back.
Okay. So, just
to the war room.
To regroup everybody, it is now towards the end of day. Okay, the sun is going to begin to set. And just really quickly, I'd like to know what you guys want to do, and if you would all like to regroup now at the war room. Okay.
I'll follow Agron.
Okay.
Yeah, I would either be looking for Agron or
Dumac.
Or Dumac, but
okay.
For father figures.
Yeah, I gotta find my dad.
Katarina, what would you like? Is there anything else you'd like to do here?
No, I'd follow behind Arson.
Okay. And Narayapi, you are still holding Pip, who is like kind of like looking back and forth and stuff, and he's very like excited.
Yeah, follow after Katarina.
Okay.
And as I leave, I want to see if Catherine's looking at me.
As you walk out, Catherine is not looking at you. She goes over.
Oh,
Gosh.
That's fine. I'm
Oh
chill.
my goodness.
oh my god!
Got some jealousy issues happening.
So chill, guys.
Okay. Very interesting. All right, as you're walking away, Pip is like, "Hey, I got something. I gotta talk to us about something.
What?
Hey, did you see that prince?
Yeah.
Yeah, were you looking at him?
Yes, I
Did he
was.
seem all sparkly, glowy to you too?
Craig, did he?
Technically, you never saw it. You never saw anything coming off of him. He just looks like a dude that was reading through his book and then chimed in a couple of times. You didn't actually see anything.
What did you see on him?
Oh, he was like, doing like magic and stuff, and like every time he would do it, he would be all sparkly glowy. It was very pretty.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. But like it was really cool because like his whole light was made, like his whole body was made of light, and it's really neat.
Really?
Yeah, it's cool. That's a lot of magic to do something like that.
Weird. I don't think anyone else saw that, Pip.
Oh, is it just me? Oh, I'm the only one that got to see it.
I think you're special, yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, that's so cool. It's like a show just for me.
Yeah, that prince is something, right?
Yeah, he is. I mean, yeah, he looks all sparkly, glowy, pretty, and like he's just a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just follow the group.
Yeah, you see that one over there, that one right there, and he
Cat?
turns and he's pointing at Arson. It's like, yeah, that guy looks pretty good too. Yeah, he's a pretty boy too.
Pip's trying to play matchmaker.
Stop it!
Yeah, Pip, you're surrounded by a lot of pretty people.
Yeah, he's got like
Very nice.
the right hair.
Yeah, you know what a genasi is?
What's that?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys all, as time passes, you get back to the war room. The king is there. As you guys are in the room, you are now surrounded by a number of other advisors. Agron, you recognize these people, okay? Specifically, you see the dwarf advisor to economics. His name is Bael. Andar, who's a female elf, leads agriculture. Arun, who is a gnome, he's the leader of engineering, the advisor on engineering. Orolibus, who is another orc commander. And of course, Dumac is also in the room. Okay, and this is the main chamber here. Catherine is not there, and just before the meeting begins, the prince finally enters in and takes a seat. And you guys are all... are you guys seated? There are seats for you now.
Agron would be in his regular seat.
Got it.
Sylvia will be next to Dumac.
Okay.
Covered.
Arson will
Sure.
Arson will will stand behind Agron, just flicking through books.
Arson, give me a perception check.
I would love to. It's a +0 for me. 11.
11.
Yeah, even with an 11, you're going to see that there is a chair next to the king that has a specific symbol on it.
What symbol?
It's just a symbol that looks like a feather pen.
That's your spot.
You have a seat.
That's your spot.
You have a seat.
Would I understand what do I know that's meant to be the scholar's seat?
I mean, you're
I can
putting two and two together. You're looking at it like,
Good thing.
is that for me? And then you're just like, the advisors in the room are just like kind of looking at you, waiting to see what you do.
Agron's gonna lean over and be like, Austin, that's your chair. That's your chair.
That's my.
It's
my.
Yes, yes. Take a seat. We can't start till you sit.
Austin will make his way over and just sort of sit.
Lariapi, there's a chair for you next to Agron. Will you take it?
Sure.
Okay. Katarina, as you guys are walking in and you know, everybody is seated down, you're the last one to enter, and just before you go inside, you just glance over and you see sitting on the throne is the friend. And he's...
Get off! Get off!
Why?
Can I get Katarina's attention and urge her to sit next to me?
So she's still standing outside the room when you sat down, and as you look over, you could see she's locked eyes and like at something.
Get off!
Or do you have a cough, Katarina?
Yes, I might have picked something up on the road.
Well, Nick, when we're finished, talk to Sylvia about her tea. It's very good.
I'm sure it is. She's gonna continue to look at the thing and like find a seat somewhere.
It starts waving its long hands and claws around, pretending to gesture to a court of people.
She's just like gonna stare daggers like this.
It then stops and like puts its hands on its knees and looks like it's speaking to someone. It's clearly mouthing, speaking to someone, something.
I'm going to. Is there an empty seat next to Lariapi?
Not exactly. It would be the last open seat would be for you, and she's sitting next to Agron.
Okay, I'm gonna sit in the empty.
Okay, you sit down. As you look over, that's still going on in the other room. Where you're sitting, you have line of sight of the throne room.
I'm gonna just try to ignore it.
Do I have a line of sight of the throne room?
Yes, you do. You both are sitting at the end. You can see right in. Lariah, but you see nothing on the throne. But clearly Katarina's focused on the throne.
I just look at her and I nod. Like it's gonna be okay.
She's gonna like nod back and like ignore the throne room as best as she can and turn to the head of the table.
Okay, as you turn to the head of the table, the friend is sitting in the king's chair.
Motherfucker.
Do you require some sort of lozenge? I have hard
No.
candies.
Of course you do. No, thank you. That's very kind.
Does he have burnt saltwater taffy?
I don't care what anyone says. That's canon now. He always has lollies in his pocket.
I've always got hard candy.
Always.
I'm an old guy. I've always got
Always.
hard candy. I hand her a mint.
He goes around the table and gives her
No,
a
she's
mint.
sitting next to me.
You got low blood, Shuggy?
She's gonna take it. Thank you. That's very, very
Of course.
kind. She's gonna unwrap it and eat it.
The king finally takes a seat and sits on top of the friend, who just puffs into gray and black smoke. The king looks at all of you and says, "All of you, thank you for coming. It is here we make our plans. Here we make our plans to have a stand against the Valiants. Lord General Agron and his group, I hope, have all come to terms and will be traveling to Leisted in order to begin rallying the fjords." And with that, the prince is going to just slowly and respectfully stand up and say,
Father, sorry to interrupt, but I've spoken with Catherine and the group here, and we believe that we should go to Displow first. If there's any chance of us rectifying the wrongs and almost saving our city, we have to take a chance and take a stand now.
there's a beat, and the king just kind of like looks at Agron to see what Agron does.
I will like stand to speak.
Okay.
This is true that Catherine suggested it. We had not necessarily agreed, for I waited for your insights on this. It was Catherine's idea that we go to Displow and find out how they took the city so quickly and what was amiss with the town. I think it is a good plan, but it worries me that it would delay the armies being mustered if we are to go to Displau opposed to going to Leicester.
Orlibus chimes in, the orc captain, orc commander that you know, chimes in and says,
Well, Agron, we can send plenty of other soldiers to rally the fjord. I must say, if I can have a moment to speak, I believe that Agron should go to Displau. We need our best man there to find out what's going on. We have not heard from Commander Wynne in some time, and we cannot believe he was going to do his job. Any questions? I didn't think so.
Craig, the significance of Displau, is it because it's a border city?
yeah, so Leisted is to the east, and it is bordering Golkaval. It is the closest city to Golkaval. Displau is the second to last city, getting close to Vulcan and close to Valia to the west. So Displau is to the west. They're both equally split, but one of them is towards the Wildlands and the other one is towards Vulcan and Valia.
Well, sire, if this is what you desire of me to do, my friends and I will do it.
One of the other advisors, the little gnome, just pipes in and says, "Well, we could send the homing pigeons." The king just kind of looks and says, "What homing pigeons?" "Well, we have been working on something. We could probably send our mechanical contraptions to deliver the messages for us."
You want us to send machines to rally the fjords?
Of course. Why wouldn't we? We have the potential. It would save us all so much time. You guys can go to Displau, and we can send our machines to go deliver the message.
Well, how likely are they to succeed?
They're very likely to succeed. We have full control, and we've been testing this for some time. Katarina. Sorry. Katarina, you're hearing, from behind you, sitting behind you on the floor, if you were to look back, you just hear the friend go, "Oh, machines to do a man's work." It's the silliest thing.
She's gonna look behind, just glance over her shoulder, and just shake her head.
I would suggest that, if the means are faster to use these machines, but we should send a follow-up rider just in case the machines don't make it.
We can do that.
As the old orc chimes in. Dumac finally speaks up, and he says,
My friends, I will go back to Golkaval, and I will rally our druids and our monks and our healers. And we will come back here very soon. Ready for war. Sire, if this is what you want, we will have our day in the sun.
The prince chimes in and says,
I'm going on their quest, Father. I'm going with them. I'm going with Uncle Agron.
The king waits for a second.
Is your son ready for such a task, sire?
I am ready.
I understand, and I admire your ambition. But I want to hear it from your father.
I would appreciate it if the boy goes with you. Take him with you. He will do well. He needs to know better what it is that we face.
I will protect him with my life.
Then at dawn, we move out. Everybody has their tasks. Everybody has their missions. What say you? He looks at each person in the crew, starting with Agron.
Agron will bow his head as an affirmative.
And then to Arson.
I could use a new weapon, but I guess I have a job now.
He puts a hand on your shoulder because he's right next to you. He just goes, "We'll get you a weapon."
Great.
Then to Sylvie.
I'm ready.
Katarina.
Sure.
And the Ryapi.
I nod.
Excellent. Then at dawn, we begin. And my friends, that is where we are going to end it tonight for this special. Thank you so much for watching with us. And as always, we want to give a massive shout out to our friends over at Critical Dice for supporting the stream and making more D&D Magic come to life. So as always, critical.chromaticdice.com. The link is coming up on here, or it's in the chat somewhere. Save 20% on all of your Critical Dice purchases, which means more dice, roll nat 20s with better dice, amazing t-shirts that you are seeing right now. And seriously, again, thank you so much to those people. Last chance, everyone. Last chance to get the keyword in the chat right now to enter to win free dice, okay?
Free freaking dice!
Free dice.
Sorry.
Okay, and the cutoff is now. Everyone, thank you so much. We will be back with you again next weekend for another awesome episode. Good night.